Let's revert to Mary Ada and have that chat with him. She's in charge of programs at the Ghana Integrity Initiative. Thank you very much for joining us here on the news desk on Joy News. Now, how much more of these cases can we possibly be dealing with?
Thank you very much, Kojo. Good morning to you and good morning to your viewers. From all indication, this is not new, and this will not be new. In fact, it will be surprising if we say it is the first occurrence of it. No. And judging from the past 2 years or thereabouts on a similar instance, even though this was at a higher level, I believe such cases abound. These are true, and there have been a lot more issues when it comes to perceptions of public officers holding interest in other companies. And in the past, this resulted in the call from civil society and other bodies to ensure that in the Companies Act, the revised one and now the new one, we have issues around beneficial ownership being incorporated. We are the better for it because it's now giving us the opportunity to then be able to not speak from a perception point of view, but to go to the Registrar General to acquire some of this information to determine how some of these things happen. It is a good thing that now we have a freedom of information law as well that is assisting journalists and civil society and all persons interested in acquiring information on the dealings of public office holders. And again, let me quickly say that it is not for anything that the Constitution clearly specifies in Article 284 that a public officer holding office should ensure that the performance of his duty does not conflict with that of his personal interests. We know as human beings we are not perfect. And for that matter, we need to ensure that we do things in the right way. So laws are made in that regard to ensure that we are all put in check as duty bearers, as right holders, and whoever the stakeholder may be, that we do the right thing in our capacity. And so it's unfortunate that these things happen, but it is not new. And we believe that going forward, our regimes would even be stronger and even more robust. And if we add that to political commitment, then we would be making a headway in the fight against corruption. For unscrupulous persons and people who believe that they would drain this nation dry, we should all look at what we can do to ensure that we curtail some of these gaps that have existed.
This case brings to mind that of the former CEO of the Public Procurement Authority. Now, people are seeing him walk around, even having access to his finance. We heard that some time ago. If that happens, that doesn't give that power to other people to say, well, I can do it because nothing will happen.
But that is not true. You see, when anybody says that they can do it because nothing would happen, it is not true. If you remember, the president himself sent this issue before Shraj. And in that doing, there were some findings that were made by Shraj to ensure that this does not happen again. And one of them was the fact that this person, and particularly in our case, when the Ghana Integrity Initiative sent the same issue to be determined by Shraj when it comes to the area around the mandate of the board, and specifically on issues of conflict of interest by the former CEO. The determination was that he does not hold public office for an additional 5 years. And so the PPA boss has been banned from holding public office for 10 years, and which is running concurrently with that which the president sent. A lot of other actions, and these are punitive enough. And remember, the Office of the Special Prosecutor, again, is before the courts. And so even though this is yet to be determined, it does not portend that it is all is well and rosy for him. There were gaps in the law, admittedly, that allowed for the gentleman to go forth and then was able to withdraw some monies from his account. And if you heard the lawyers, they indicated that these were normal transactions they were making. As to whether that's correct or not is for the courts to determine. But that does not mean that he is getting away with the issues of taking the money and getting away. If the court so determined, most definitely he would have assets, and these assets can be confiscated. And when you look at the Special Prosecutors Act, I don't remember the particular section right now because I'm not looking into the law, but there are issues around where confiscations can be made. And so do not let people generalize and conclude that this nothing could come out of it. It is not the case. The former PPA boss is at the courts, and he needs to determine, in this case, that he's not guilty. Otherwise, the state would win, and if the state wins, then we all would see some benefits thereof.
So what
but
do you...
Again, let me quickly say that...
I'm listening.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to find out from you what
Okay, so let me quickly say... Come again, I didn't get
So I wanted to find out from you what you expect to see of this particular case. This one, for example.
Okay, so it is very clear, and you know we have history to then judge this issue by, and so it's the list or the minimum we expect from the appointing authority, who is our president, is that this gentleman is asked to step aside for an investigation to proceed as quickly as possible.
All right.
Again, this issue should be sent to charge. And let me say that we do not hold any grudge. We do not know this gentleman. But what we are saying is that there are clear issues of breaches of the Procurement Act, whether he is involved or not. And if you read the sections 22 of the Public Procurement Act, it talks about qualification. And in the qualification, it speaks to issues around technical capacity. It speaks to issues around logistics. It speaks to issues around capacity of the persons in the company. And one of them, let me bring so that maybe to determine the president's decision as quickly as possible, is the fact that if the company had the capacity, then why were they selling the contract to another company to execute? Clearly, we know that the company didn't have the capacity, and the competence and expertise is built over time. So for a company that was registered in 2017, it would be difficult for me to agree or comprehend that any proper tendering process would determine that these were the competent persons who have the credibility, track record, expertise, and the logistics to mobilize to site and do so. And for instance, now that nothing has been done, it is a clear instance that less than 3% of the job has been executed, not by the company which won the contract, but by the one they sold it to. It means that what was done for the geese in the past should be done for the gander in this case. Otherwise, the fight against corruption, we would all see, is a joke.
All right, thank you very much, Madam Mary Ada, for joining us. She is the Director of Programs at the Ghana Integrity Initiative. Now, moving on. The several calls for government through the Ministry of Finance to pay the allowance of health assistance across the country seems unending, with the National Health Student Association of Ghana threatening a strike action to demand the payment of the allowance. The group, made up of the allied health students and the nurses and midwife trainees, are demanding the payment of their rotation allowance and also the nursing student trainee allowances. Joining us on Zoom is the Vice President for the National Health Student Association of Ghana, Musabi Balom Rahim. Thank you very much for joining us, sir. How many months are you owed by now? Hello, Rahim. If you can hear me, how many months are you owed in terms of your allowances? Okay, so we'll take a quick break. We'll be back with the details of this story and more. Stay with us.